Hi, my name is Anna Celeste Edmonds, and I'm a sound artist and a Science and Engineering and Arts Heritage and Archaeology Centre for Doctoral Training PhD researcher at the University of Brighton in the UK. My presentation is on a project I undertook in August 2019 during a research master's at University College London as part of preliminary doctoral research on heritage-specific audio content. This project is called Songs of the Sea, exploring audience engagement in local heritage through locative audio interpretations of Roger Quilter's The Seabird. This presentation is best experienced through headphones, so if you have any to hand, please feel free to put them on now. A short video will play on the next slide. This presentation discusses the first stage of audio content research and experimentation during my PhD project in 3D 5G immersive audio experiences for audience engagement in urban outdoor heritage sites. The audio experiment was created and tested in Brunswick Square, Brighton and Hove, UK, with volunteers from my heritage partner, the Regency Townhouse, which is the venue I'm currently in. The focus of the test was to put forward 3 different types of audio content, all created in response to a piece called The Seabird by local Brunswick Square composer Roger Quilter. These interpretations took the form of music, dialogue, and binaural field recording to open discussion with listeners and obtain qualitative and quantitative feedback on the perceptions of heritage-specific audio presented through a mobile application in an urban outdoor setting. Using the geolocative audio application by my industry partner, Echoes, the audio tracks were positioned outside the famous composer's childhood home, creating a tangible connection between sight and sound. The introduction of mobile immersive audio experiences to the heritage sector can offer exciting ways to inform and engage broader audiences in the rich history of heritage sites. They are a platform to put forward historic narratives, sound effects, dialogue, and music beyond the traditional audio guide, with scope to expand knowledge, enhance learning, and bring added enjoyment to the visitor experience. Due to minimal on-site infrastructure, they are well suited to augmenting visitor interaction with listed, ruined, and outdoor heritage sites. Collecting and interpreting heritage-specific sound content is part of the compositional process of building an immersive audio experience. In order to gain a better understanding of audience preferences of different types of sound content at the site of Brunswick Square in Brighton and Hove, a piano and voice piece called The Seabird was selected for interpretation. This composition was chosen due to its relation to the site and for the haunting imagery portrayed in the piece. Roger Quilter was born in 1877 at No. 4 Brunswick Square in Brighton and Hove. His compositions were mainly for piano and voice and suited to a drawing room setting, as they are intimate and easy to listen to. His collection Songs of the Sea, which included The Seabird, was originally composed in 1901 and first presented to the public at the Crystal Palace in London, where it was performed by known vocalist Denham Price. Interestingly, the collection was later revised in 1911, and the lyrics for The Seabird were changed. This collection was selected as it is one of the few Roger Quilter collections containing music and lyrics created solely by the composer. Due to scarce accounts, there is little information known about the collection itself other than it was written for his mother. Given the location of his childhood home and the imagery of the gulls, it seems fitting that the music refers to Brighton. Questions were created to direct the research undertaken and to assist with the clarification of sound recording and data collection processes. They are as follows. What methods will be used to create the audio content? What are the participants' opinions on selected audio content? Are the app and audio experience accessible to those taking part? Is the location accurate and does it trigger as expected? Which track do the participants prefer? What from this test can be taken forwards to a larger prototype? In order to explore the first research question on methods for content capture, recording techniques for each type of audio content were considered. The first recording, referred to from now on as track 1, was the live piano and voice recording from the manuscript of The Seabird. It was performed in the Grade 2 listed Unitarian Church in Brighton
as there was access to a beautiful Steinway piano and equally beautiful acoustics. This seemed a good opportunity to try a piece of equipment which was new to me, the Holophone H3, which offers a 5.1 surround sound experience through 6 small, equally positioned microphone elements considered ideal for field or studio recording. Unfortunately, there were inexplainable irregularities in the recording, which were likely due to electrical interferences within the building which couldn't be rectified. Have a listen. In response to this, a portable recording system called the Soundman OKM binaural microphone was tested instead. These microphones are very precise and are normally used for more tactile immersive recordings, as they directly transpose to personal headphone listening through their positioning within the recorder's ears. In this case, as I was the singer, a makeshift stand was created using a coat hanger, inspired by known field recordist Chris Watson. This recording was successful and would be taken forward to the audio experience. The next type of content to be explored was dialogue, which is most heard in traditional audio guides. Track 2 was formed from an extract of text found in a biography by the composer, written by Valerie Langfield. This text described the lyrical changes in the 2 versions of A Seabird from 1901 to 1911, so it was an interesting descriptive passage to put forward to listeners in an outdoor location. Due to previous issues with the holophone, recording for this track was first tested with the handheld Zoom H4n microphone, but despite amendments to microphone positioning and the inclusion of a shield, the P sound during speech was still very prominent. Have a listen. The next songs to appear were the 4 Songs of the Sea, first performed in March 1901. As the issue in this case was from breath hitting the microphone when the letter P was enunciated, the binaural microphones seemed a fitting alternative to test. In this recording, they were placed in my ears and therefore away from breath during speech. This was successful and the recording was brought forward to the mobile audio experience. In the second song, The Seabird, the day was dying in floods of crimson gore on 1901. The last kind of audio content to be captured was a field recording. Field recording is a technique for capturing and expressing the natural field of sound, and was originally associated with audio collection of cultural and natural heritage sites for museums and archives. In this context, it is used in combination with walking as a way of capturing the audio experience of a journey like that of the seabird in the piece. This walk was taken from the front of No. 4 Brunswick Square all the way to the water and took approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Track 3 was intended to be recorded using the Soundman binaural microphones due to their mobility, inconspicuousness, and clear translation of spatial audio to headphone listening, making them perfect for moving field recording. This trip was only done twice, as the sole amendments that were needed were in response to wind interference. Have a listen to this extract. Once the audio content was created for the application, surveys were made to produce alongside the listening experience so the volunteer participants could answer questions in relation to each track as they heard it. The questionnaires had a page of general heritage, mobile and audio content preference questions at the beginning, which were added to get a general assessment of the participants' backgrounds in the context of the audio experience. The other questions were created in relation to the initial research questions, were broken down into 3 main sections: content, location, and accessibility. These questions were formulated as a combination of Likert scale questions and open-ended descriptive questions, with the scale questions spread across 5 different responses from strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. The test was experienced with 2 participants at a time, with a total of 8 participants filling out the surveys. The test took approximately half an hour per pair, with the same equipment given to each participant of a mobile device and a pair of headphones. Assistance was given if asked for, but participants generally attempted the experience alone. If you have a look at the phone screen on the left, you can see a small blue location icon, which is representative of the listener's GPS location, and a small arrow showing the direction they are facing. When you are within the paler blue circle, which is a sound field, it will trigger the audio placed on the map through the application. By leaving the circle, the sound stops. There are different parameters which can be set, but these were the ones put in place for the test. The sounds were in static locations within the square, all nearing number 4, but the spatialization feature was added to encourage participants to move around. This feature created dynamic changes, with the track louder in the centre of the circle of sound and quieter at the edge of the circle, giving a sense of distance between you and the central audio source. A handout was given to each participant at the beginning, offering background information on the composer and what would be heard in the test. When analysing the results of the surveys, each participant was given a number, so the responses for each track could be kept together and could be analysed as an entire narrative throughout the test. General data collected was put into the table which you see here, giving a clear overview of their background. It can be seen that 50% of participants were between the ages of 56 and 65, and none stated they had visited any less than 15 heritage sites a year, excluding the Regency Townhouse, where they are volunteering. When rating their own hearing, none stated their hearing as any less than satisfactory, with 50% at the highest rating of very good. As smartphone usage is an important factor of a mobile experience, it was reassuring to find out that 75% of participants should have been comfortable with using a mobile phone and navigating a mobile application. The multiple answer content question asking, "What types of audio content do you normally listen to?" result in all participants stating they listen to music, with 62.5% saying they enjoyed podcasts also. Participant 7 was the only one to state they enjoyed all recorded audio content answers offered in the questionnaire. There are a lot of responses to analyse in the results, so for this presentation 1 scale question and 2 open-ended opinion questions are being presented in greater detail to give a feel for the kinds of responses that were being given by listeners. Noise-cancelling headphones were deliberately not used in this test to allow some audio bleed from the outside. This was to keep participants aware of any audible hazards, but also because it was interesting to find out if the external sonic landscape added to or took away from the listening experience. In this question on outside noise interference, track 1, music, received the most mixed responses, followed by track 2, dialogue. Track 3, the field recording, scored the highest on this question. This immersive track is a combination of footsteps, conversation, nature, and the sea, and apparently worked well with the surroundings. It is possible that this is due to the outside sounds not being noticed, or naturally blending in smoothly with the journey that was being heard. On reflection, an accompanying scale question could have been added stating, "No outside noise was heard." These results could then be compared to see if it was an opinion on interference or if in fact no outside noise was heard at all during the tracks. This dynamic audio feature on echoes creates changes in volume as the listener moves closer or further away from the centre of audio circle on the map. This offers more depth to the experience and encourages movement. There were several different opinions around this feature, with participant 1 stating effective but no directional feedback, which suggests a more VR-like experience was anticipated, which is good feedback as that is the direction my doctoral research will be taking. Participant 6 noted that the volume did vary when walking around. Participant 7 noted a strong drop-off of volume over 4 paces. Participant 8 stating it was fading off and was most appropriate. There were very few instances where it didn't work. Participant opinions on the kinds of audio content presented were collected through open-ended questions. This was an opportunity for participants to express their thoughts in a more descriptive manner and give more diverse feedback. Positive responses were given for all 3 tracks. Sonic bleed from the landscape was discussed for track 1, stating, "The gulls started calling at the end, which was brilliant. During the song I could hear the sparrows, which was also lovely." Participant 2 expressed that track 1 was engaging, yes. With the sea calm, it resonated with the solo piano and voice. Track 3 had the most intriguing responses of disconcerting in its realism and felt like VR. The overarching question of which track do participants prefer was answered through the comparison of each participant's level of agreement responses to the 7 scaled questions asked for each track. From the chart it can be assessed that track 2, dialogue, is the overall preferred track, with track 3, field recording, a close second, and track 1, music, at the lowest. When accumulating all the positive results, agree and strongly agree, track 1 has 80% agreement, track 2 is 87% agreement, and track 3 at 83% agreement, which are relatively close numbers. As this question is surrounding a preference, neutrality of opinion in this case is not helpful in concluding a result. What is useful to observe from this test is that 80% and higher of responses were positive for each track, with descriptive responses available for cross-referencing opinions. A few conclusions can be obtained from this mobile audio content test. It has been noted that track 2 came out the most preferred, but this could potentially be due to its similarity to that of a traditional audio guide, which involves the kind of heritage-specific audio content participants would most be used to, which in turn could mean it was the easiest to listen to and engage with in this context. Often taken for granted, it should be acknowledged that all participants were able to complete the test and fully fill out their questionnaires, giving balanced and valuable results. Valuable opinions regarding audio content were obtained, which can be built upon for further audio prototypes throughout my PhD research. Binaural recording was identified as the most valuable and versatile method for audio content capture in this context. As the overall feedback was so positive for each track, the intention is for each kind of audio content to be explored further, with difficulties surrounding previous recording techniques taken into consideration for future audio experimentation. If replicated, rearranging or taking away an order of listening might produce different results, as it could change the overarching narrative of the audio work. It'd be interesting to find out if similar feedback is given then also. Songs of the Sea was later presented as part of a Heritage Open Days event on the 21st of September in 2019, where it was experienced by the public through bookable sessions. It is currently still available at Brunswick Square on the Echoes application for the public to come and listen to at any time. You can find it online or on your mobile phone through clicking the link or scanning the QR code with your camera. My name is Anna Celeste Edmonds. Thank you very much for viewing and listening to this conference presentation called Songs of the Sea, for Connections, Exploring Heritage, Architecture, Cities, Art and Media.